against a wall, choked me.
Gina has struck me, clawed me, thrown things at me.
I kicked him, I scratched him. I fight back out of anger. We've had at least 50 fights.
Gina does a lot of things to push my buttons. Gina will insult my manliness, throw things at me. I've choked her approximately 10 times.
Jeremy called me a filthy trash.
I have called Gina a whore, a slug.
Our first physical altercation occurred June 16th, 2011. He started yelling at me. I walked outside. Jeremy pushed me up against the frame of the garage door. My head hit right here.
Gina threatened to key my vehicle. Gina and I ended up wrestling on the ground for control of the keys. My logic went in the trash and my emotions took over.
He pinned me to the floor, pushing my face into the carpet, choked me, threw me on the ground like a rag doll. I didn't press charges because I figured it was just a one-time thing. Another time, we got into a really bad argument. Jeremy tore a ligament in my knee.
I wrestled her to the bed with the intention of making her listen to me.
He took my leg and turned it this way.
We both heard a painful noise from her knee. At the hospital, we told them she fell off a ladder.
It's really hard to believe if the violence doesn't stop. I am afraid that I'm going to die.
Okay, can I set some ground rules right in the beginning? Because, I take this very seriously. I take the topic very seriously. And I take y'all's relationship very seriously. So we've got to tell the truth. Because if you guys really, truly want to make a difference in your lives together, then it starts with truth and clarity. Can we do that? Seriously.
My relationship with Jeremy means more to me than what other people think at this point.
Why are you here?
I'm here because I want the problems to end.
And what are the problems?
The problems are arguing.
Let's say, this is the first test. I just asked you a question, and I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath and think about it. I said, what are the problems? Really, no kidding, unvarnished, cut to the chase. What's the problem?
The problem is the physical violence.
And are you physically violent with her?
Yes.
How does it start, and what do you do?
A lot of times when it starts, I snap. And I get angry, I yell, I scream at her. And I tend to be combative. I call her names. And we get physical a lot of times. It involves wrestling. And at its worst, choking.
Okay, I listen very carefully to what people say. You said, I snap, I get aggressive, I yell, I call names, we get physical. So are you attempting to obviate your role in that? Or are you saying that it's just something the two of you do together? What are you saying?
No, I do become physical.
Okay, so you become physical. What is the worst thing that you've done to her physically?
The worst thing, there's been 2 times. One time when I injured her knee, and one time when I injured her teeth.
You injured her knee to the point that she had to have surgery on it. And that was from pushing and her falling, right? And then another time, you say your arm slipped and you hit her in the teeth and cracked her teeth. You say this happens 50 times in a year. He says 20, like 30 makes a difference. But why is this happening?
I know that I nag, and I know that I have a tendency to push his buttons.
What do you mean push his buttons?
I bitch at him, I nag, and I get to him. I mean, I can admit that. I acknowledge that I've done things to hurt him too, emotionally.
Why do you do that?
Because I want him to feel the pain that he's made me feel.
So you intend to hurt him. You say things that you know will hurt, that will cut him emotionally.
I'm resentful, and honestly, I feel annoyed by his presence sometimes because I'm so resentful.
So he hits you, grabs you, chokes you, pushes you physically, right?
Yes.
And you think part of that's your fault because you push the buttons and nag him and goad him.
I don't know whose fault it is anymore. I've heard him say things like, it's your fault that I'm this way. you make me hit you. And when I think about it after everything's said and done, some of it starts to make sense. I don't know if it's because I think about it too much, but some of it actually starts to make sense to me.
What makes sense to you?
The fact that I've hurt him and that's why he just gets so angry that he would hurt me.
So you say, okay, I get it now. I pushed him to the point that it's natural that he would do that.
I think so.
Yeah. So you've been at this a lot. You say 30 times, you say 50. According to Gina, you have choked her, you've pulled her hair, you've pushed her to the ground, shoved her face into the carpet, you've bruised her arms and legs, you have slammed her against the garage door, and you've thrown her on the ground like a rag doll. That's what she says. Do you agree with all that?
I agree.
You've done all that. You admit that you've wrestled her onto the bed. Your intention was to make her listen. So that's your approach to improving communication. I mean, wrestle her onto the bed, sit on top of her, because then I'll be more persuasive.
At the time, that was my emotional response.
Mm-hmm.
That obviously isn't a logical
So you've
response.
torn a ligament in her knee. According to Gina, that she has slapped you several times, and you threatened to bash her head in with a bedpost. Let me just be sure I got this all right. He's choked you, pulled your hair, pushed you to the ground, shoved your face in the carpet, bruised your arms and legs, slammed you against the door, thrown you around like a rag doll, tore a ligament in your knee, broke out your teeth, and driven a nail through your arm.
Yes.
We're going to talk about why Gina says she won't leave her fiance ever, in spite of everything we just talked about. We'll be right back.
Well, I don't understand it. And if there's anyone here who could help me understand it, why would this couple even bother staying together? You know, it's obvious that there is a lot of resentment and hatred, all out hatred. I'm sure I haven't seen it yet, but she's going to get on here and say, like every other one, female say, what is it, gang? Let's hear you say it. Because I love him. Oh, God, I am so sick of hearing that. If I hear another female say that one more time, I'm going to end up in psychiatric. Because there's no way that anyone will ever convince me that you're staying because you love that person. How can you love someone if you don't love yourself first? I think a lot of these women stay because they're terrified of being alone. That's it. That's the main reason. I figured it out. They feel that being single means being alone, and that is so far from the truth. You know, you have so many women who have female roommates. And I was talking to my girlfriend the other day, and she said, Sheila, I know you always promote the Golden Girls, Living Singles, Sex and the City, all of these shows where women don't have a man living in their house. But that's not real. And I had to tell my girlfriend, yeah, it is real. I know a lot of females who live in supportive living, and it's a house, and each female have their own room. It's like 3 women in the house or 4 women in the house, and they get along so beautifully. I have my roommate living with me now, and she is so easy. We just had one of her friends come and stay up here. She's an Oriental girl, Asian. I think they call it Asian instead of Oriental. But she was so wonderful, and all 3 of us females, we got along so easy. It was the most beautiful thing ever. They all clean up behind themselves. There's no arguments. Sure, we go out on dates, but that's as far as we take it. You know, after the date is over, you go to your place and I go to mine. And maybe if you want the guy to stay over, let's say he come over Friday night after work, and he'll stay over with you till Saturday, and Sunday he leaves. That's the best way for 2018 going forward that things should be. Hang out for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then pack it up Sunday after dinner. You go to church together, you come home, you make a nice dinner, eat, talk a bit, do whatever you do, and then he goes home. That's a beautiful thing. And I don't understand why women are not waking up to that. That's what's best. Anyway, we'll do part two because I don't want to overdo this.